All right, hello everybody, and welcome again to the classroom. I'd like to preface today's video with a few things. Number one, just a shout out to Panda Lion Death. Thank you for being a stalwart supporter, always and forever, and thank you for donating to my Patreon. And I also want to say, if you are watching this series, that this will make you draw exactly like me. Be that a good or bad thing, there's literally no way around it, so I hope that you're ready for whatever repercussions there are from that. Today we're going to go over just like the base painting portion of the drawing. We're not completing it 100%. We're just going to do the loose part of the painting today while I talk. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say, is that I'm going to be drawing and talking at the same time today instead of drawing it first and then talking beforehand, so forgive me if there's any pauses or, awkward things like that happening, because that's probably going to happen as I talk about what I'm doing. Here's the drawing from last time. Again, it is the Spritzy, and let me just pull over our reference here. Reference, got it on the other screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take my brush. People were asking about my brush, which I did actually show in the very second episode of AJ Draws. If you watch the first few seconds of that video, you can see the brush that I've been using for 90% of these paintings. I also want to say that I was thinking about it a lot yesterday, and really when I do these, so much of how I paint comes from feeling that something is right. So what we're doing today is the general way that I paint, but it's not, the end all be all. It can change. It changes a lot when I draw. So I picked, initially we're going to use the dark outline of the Spritzy for the inside colors, his pink, but I've decided to change it a little bit, and we're going to use this red here, just because I get a nice deeper red when I'm using it. So we'll take my brush that I use, that is a default brush, by the way, again, in Photoshop, and just lightly go over the entire area of the Spritzy. It doesn't matter if you get outside the lines, because 90% of that is going to be painted over anyway. And that's, again, this is just the loose portion of that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. As I'm painting it, some parts, like I sort of determined my light source at this point. You'll notice looking through my drawings that I do like to use like an upper light source. Sometimes, I didn't in the Gyarados drawing, that was obviously a lower bottom light source. But this one, for the sake of simplicity, we'll use a top-down light source. More like top, bottom, the right there. So because I let go of my brush, now I'm getting this dark line there, and that's okay. I'll just paint over that as soon as I'm finished doing this little bit here. Okay, so then we'll repick, and then when I paint, I use I have a hotkeyed the picker, the color picker, because I use it a lot. I use it for shading. I use it to get the white whenever I'm doing detailing. So you'll notice that if I just use it for pretty much everything. I use it way more than I use undo, I'll tell you that. So right now I'm going to do a little bit cleaning up this line here. And there's only a few colors that we're going to be working with today, because I picked this Spritzy, and the Spritzy doesn't have very many colors. It has literally 3 colors. Let's say 4 colors. Let's drag it over just so we can see. We got the color of the body, the color of the eye, the color of the beak, the color of the feet, and that's really about it. So go ahead and grab that, and now I'm just pressing hard. So, like, for example, the reason why I did that is if I turn off the bottom layer, and it's all on one layer right now. If I turn off the bottom layer, the background layer, the white, you'll see that it turns really semi-transparent, because I've just been drawing over it super lightly, except for these parts where I use the color picker for that pink, and then went over like that. It's not really important. At the end of the drawing, most of it is going to be opaque anyways, because of, again, when I'm picking my shadows and all those other colors. But that said, some of it won't be, and it really doesn't matter because I'm drawing on one layer. So I don't have to worry about anything else getting behind it and affecting that color. So right now I'm just doing a little line cleanup on the outside. I'm trying to make it look a little more presentable. Not important really, just for me. And you'll notice too that I haven't zoomed in at all yet, and that's because this is the blocky stage. This really doesn't need to be too detailed. The other thing you'll notice is when I do that paint over, is the outline that I had initially drawn becomes a little more red because I'm drawing very lightly with that red, which is really cool. The only problem now is that since that red is pretty much gone, if I forgot, I didn't remember to draw on these feathers here, so I'll just do it the regular way. But I got to be a little more careful because I don't want to go over those black outlines too harshly just yet, because I need to know where everything is. I mean, I could have just color picked it earlier, and there might even be a way to get the old colors back, and maybe I just don't know enough about Photoshop. That's okay. You know what? Not everybody knows everything, right? I'm not a magic man. So let's get that. All right. Because his beak is really white, and we're gonna do the beak next. His beak is white, but it's not actually white. It's a really light gray, very cool color. So we're gonna use like a light blue for that. So let's just pick our blue right there. And again, like before, I'm just going over it super lightly. Nah, it's too blue. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So we're going to use a more purpley blue. A purpley blue. Yeah, I don't know. There's a color name for that? Viridian? Fuck, who knows? So we'll pick that really light because I'm going to go over it so light. It really doesn't matter. As I was saying before, and completely forgot to say because I am doing this off the cuff, when I'm drawing like this and I'm going over lightly, some parts of the area when I'm picking, after I've picked my light source, which I didn't actually do in this drawing, is I'll already start putting in some basic shadows as I go along, just for the sake of time saving. So like, for example, I did a little bit just out of, I don't know, fucking habit, I guess. Down here is a little bit darker than up here. I already picked that light source because when I was going over it with my dark red, I had just pressed a little harder. Pressure sensitivity is a magical, wonderful thing, and it helps everybody every day. All right, so we're going to keep going and get a dark gray for his eye. Again, I don't like putting anything completely on the black and white spectrum, so it's a little over to the right just so we get a little warmth to it. It really doesn't matter. So this one especially because it's really dark, so like I go over it really lightly so I can keep that outline, and then it does this weird fade out to the end, which I'm probably not going to end up keeping, but we'll see at this point, at this stage. All right. We'll use that exact same color for the eye because it is. I'm gonna have to go darker, so I'm color picking the darkness again. So that's that, and I'm keeping that flat, just completely flat. We don't need to worry about colors on that just yet, or shadows. And then the eye is a sort of orangey color. Let's get our dark orange, red orange. It's a really red orange, actually. Let's see. All right. Oops. That'll do. So we'll get that, and just lightly go over it, and loose, because it doesn't matter. This is not the part of the drawing where we detail. But sometimes when I'm drawing, I will detail, and I won't even do any of this crap. I will literally just zoom in, and so let's say I'm at 50% now, but let's go to 100. So let's say I'm drawing this and pretend this is all white. Sometimes I'll just start going for it and start shading immediately and not even worrying about all the others, and I'll build out. And that's the way that artists and art teachers will always tell you not to do it. I don't know why they say that. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. You can draw however the heck you want, and if it comes out good, then who cares? That's my idea. That's what I believe anyway. So there's our basic eye, basic flat colors. Let's just get the feet in there pretty quickly. Again, those are a purple. It's a purple color. We're going to get that purple. Let's grab our purple. And we always want to pick a darker color than it's actually going to be because we're drawing at low transparent, or, semi-transparent. And again, we want to go over the outline because it's going to help us later with the shading. All right. So that's kind of weird. Did I do that on purpose? I don't remember. See, I don't remember how I drew it last time. So let's fix up that line a little bit. Okay. Good. All right, so there's our basic drawing, and what you'll notice immediately is that the colors are nothing like the actual colors of the Spritzy. The Spritzy is very pink, like a really pinky pink, and this is definitely way red. And that's okay. Like I briefly mentioned in the beginning of last video, we're going to pick our lighter color now. Since this is still the loose stage, I'm just going to pick a nice light pink. Let's go for that. Find it. Oops, where the heck am I doing? All right. Similar to the one, but I eyeball everything. I don't like color picking from other people's palettes. It feels dishonest. It's probably not, and I'm sure that lots of artists do it, but I am not one of those guys. That ain't me, yo. So let's grab our pink. Find a good fucking pink. Okay, that's a good one. Alright, and then we'll just, like before, but only with the highlights, alright? So then we'll do that, and I'll just sort of imagine the light sources, upper right, and you'll see where my hand has a lighter touch. The initial, like, right there, that's hard. That's harsh. It's a harsh touch, and that's what I wanted. That's what I want to go for. And we're probably going to go over this entire thing with this pink, alright? Not the entire painting, but, like, the entire body. So let's just go ahead and do that. And I just guess where all the shadows would be, right? I'm just fucking making it up. I use experience for that. I do that for all of my paintings, mostly. Sometimes unless I'm trying to get a super specific look, I will use reference for that, but more often than not, I don't use reference. And that is also another thing that is frowned upon amongst professional artists, is not the use of not using reference. Is that the right way to say that? Like, I don't know, for me, it's more hassle than it's worth, and you know what, I don't have to defend myself to you. You're the one who came here to watch me draw, alright? So let's keep going, just really quickly, really lightly, getting our colors in there. Okay. So this is basically the basic parts of painting, and I'm trying to go slowly, but because remember I wanted to do the feathers, I'll just sort of wing it, and sometimes things come out like I don't expect them to. Like, and I like the way they look, so I keep going with it, and that's sort of even how these wings are going right now. Like, I know I want them to be really feathery, so I'm just color picking and loosely painting it in there and trying to see, do I enjoy this? Yes, I do, and I keep going for it. So let's keep going with that, and same thing with the fur. Like, up here, I want it to look really furry, so I just keep going with it, and those are going to have some drop shadows, so let's put that in there really loosely. It's not important to be detailed just yet, alright? So, and what I mean there, by the way, with the drop shadows, something I've learned is that if you have a drop shadow, like something, there's cast, right, so the light is going down this way, and there's light right here, so that means there's going to be shadow underneath it. There's two things you want to do. You want to create contrast, or at least I want to create contrast, so I'll draw the shadow underneath it, right, and then I'll draw a really bright light underneath that. So not only, it might not be the most realistic way to do it, sometimes light just doesn't work that way, sometimes it'll be a soft fade, but I like to have that contrast in there. And then you can go over, if you're painting on one layer like I do, go over that again, so that way you get the nice sense of layer, right? This hair is layered on top of that, and is layered on top of that. So that looks pretty nice. So we're going to keep going with that. I'm trying to make this quick. I don't want to make this a 35, 40-minute video. So bear in mind that this isn't going to be quite that long. And we're mostly there. For the mask, I know I usually shy away from using white to color, but because it is a white mask for the most part, I am going to just quickly go over it with white, just for my highlights. And this isn't, I say highlights, it's not my highlights, it's just my lights, my light source. Again, following that same light source, it's upper right. Notice the mask is sort of beak shaped, So imagine it as if it were clay, right? So let's pick our just a dark color right there, the edge line right there, and then that's gonna go up like that, and that gives us our nice little shape, right? And that's all subject to change. If we don't like how it looks, we can always change everything. Painting is amazing because everything is able to change. The mask is gonna kind of go like, I keep saying mask. Is it actually a mask? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so, actually, now that I talk about it. So let's go down, and we're going to give it this nice little nose drop shadow. And then we'll have to put some reflected light there. Again, it might not be 100% correct, but it gives you a nice contrast. And just fade away, fade away. It doesn't have to look perfect. This is not cleanup stage. This is not detailing stage. This is basic blocking in stage. And I'm just lightly brushing over it. Brush, 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 brush. So even like here, you can see with the line art, I added some details that don't need to be there. You can sort of see them. Let me zoom in there for you. So you can see right there. So maybe right now, if I were actually doing this, like not trying to get it done quickly, I would add some shadows in there and, you know, just go over it to get that detail in there. It's not important, and I would actually end up painting over it again anyways. But for me, I like to see it. It makes me feel like, oh, that looks so cool. It's like he's got the mask buried underneath his skin a little bit, you know, it's popping out. So let's make, you know, accentuate that, which I will do. Another thing I'll do while I'm going is like I will give a shadow to this eyelid, right? My light source is still the top right, so it's gonna end up going down, and I'll pick the color for the eyelid for my shadow, just because that way I can go over like the whole thing, and it doesn't really matter, right? It's not gonna affect it too much, and then I'll just, you know, tighten it up a little bit like that. So, but it's not gonna go that far. It is gonna have a shadow, but not that much of a shadow. So that's pretty much where we're at for now. Basic detailing, I mean not detailing, but basic color for me. Let's get some shadows left under here, and I'll just speed up a little bit so you get a good sense. Ooh, actually that looked pretty cool for a second. So for on these feet, like a happy accident, I'm going to make the shadows a little more warm, a little more red, just because I think they look cool. And we're just going to block that in. And this one's behind, so you want it to be a little darker just based on the light source. Actually, since both of the feet are underneath him, they should both technically be fully in shadow for the most part. Like right there. Right? So we'll put that. And the purple right there. And we'll put a little purple there just so we know that that one's in front. Get that. It looks so terrible, but it doesn't matter. We're having a good time, aren't we, everybody? You hope you're enjoying yourselves. And I fully expect every single person watching this to be drawing this spritzy as well. I want to see your spritzies in the comments. If they don't look exactly the same as mine, you are going to get a failing grade, and I will notify your parents. So please make sure that you're following my directions to a T. And I really don't want to have to do that to you guys, because you're great. Everyone here is great, except for that one guy, and you know who you are. Sorry, I'm trying to... There we go. That's the contrast I need. How was your day? I'm talking to everybody. How was your day, everybody? Did you have a good day? I had an okay day. I had to work, but it was all right. So there we go. Let's get a little more contrast right here. Oh, we don't want any white there. Not yet, anyways. Contrast is important. Everybody loves contrast. So, I mean, even now you can see like a lot of the detailing that I did in the line work is pretty much fucking lost, but it's all gonna get painted over. Doesn't matter. So why did I do it, do you ask? I like to. It's fun. Did you know that drawing can be fun? I hope you know that drawing can be fun. I mean, it's not most of the time, but sometimes it is. And that's why we do it, right? Because we want to have fun. Certainly not for fame, glory, money, or any of those reasons. That would be vain. And the Bible... No, sorry. No. Where was I going with that? Not here. Another thing is that I'll do, back to serious talk, or semi-serious talk, is I will add the reflected light, even if there isn't any, just for the sake of, like, I don't know, sometimes it looks good. So, like, right here, I'll darken this up and pretend there's a reflected light going this way. I'll leave that there for educational purposes, but we'll make it like the same color as the mask, right? So it looks kind of cool. Reflected light. Look at that. Look at all the depth and dimension that we're getting from that faux reflected light. Isn't that nice? I think it's nice, and we can detail it more later too. So that's kind of cool. That looks so cool, man. All right. I guess we'll put a little more heavy contrasted shadows right there. And let's just put this up. Oh yeah, the other thing is the light's coming down from there, so this means this whole schnoz is going to need to be a little darker, and then we'll just fade back up and then detail that cool. Good. All right. And we're adding things that don't need to be there, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. And like I said, because we want to keep the creepy face. I said this in the last video, so if some of you are starting here, you have no idea that I said this, but I did. I didn't want to put the highlight. Ooh, that looked kind of cool too, actually. I didn't want to put the highlight there, like I mean that's where it'll be, but it doesn't look as creepy when you have the highlight. So for now, at least, we're just gonna the light's coming down this way, so that means that his eye is concave. So we'll add some of this nice deep red that I see right there as the darkness, right? And then the light is right there, and we'll make that a little bit brighter, but also a little more intense color. So like up there, that's good, and that'll be for the highlight there. And I should actually maybe even make one even brighter. Let's grab super bright color just for a little eye highlight there, right? And that'll go a little bit around too, because it looks cool. And we do things that look cool. That's the whole point of anything, is to look cool. Let's go over this drop shadow with the pink a little bit, and we'll end up darkening that in the detail stage. So that's pretty much it for the loose base painting. I do this part pretty much the same way on every painting. I usually spend a lot more time with it, but even at the end of it, it doesn't look too different from what you're seeing here. So if you ever, you can see it. That's the whole point of my channel, is you can see my process, my whole process. You've seen this all before. This isn't new to anyone that's watched the channel, as long as they, as a normal human would do, watched it and slowed it down. All right. But we've gone on for 23 minutes, which is way longer than I wanted to, so I'm going to speed up some bits and just call this one a day. Meet me again next week for some detailed painting. Maybe we'll finish this spritzy. Probably not, but maybe. All right. See you later, guys. Thanks.